Welcome to ATRMC HRU Virtual Research Classroom. Following are a few reminders before we begin. It is helpful to use a two-way earphones and headset for clearer audio input. Lectures are in PowerPoint presentation. Device must be in full screen mode for better viewing. Questions, you may send them to our email address. Answers to your questions will be posted in the virtual classroom as a separate Q&A video as soon as available. After this lecture, an assessment form will be sent to you. Kindly accomplish this form to receive your certificate of attendance. This may be viewed on demand on our YouTube channel. Thank you. Our lecture for today will be on presenting the scientific paper. Our speaker is Dr. Urbanozo-Corpuz, Chair of the Technical Review Board of the Hospital Research Unit. To introduce our speaker, here is Dr. Maria Rosela Guzman, Chair of Information Management Systems of HRU.
Good day, I am Dr. Maria Rosela Guzman, Chair of the Information Management Systems of the Hospital Research Unit. Today, I will be introducing our speaker. Dr. Hannah C. Urbanozo-Corpuz is a Fellow of the Philippine College of Physicians and the Philippine Society of Endocrinology, Diabetes, and Metabolism. She finished her Bachelor of Science in Psychology at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and Doctor of Medicine at the De La Salle University Health Sciences Institute. She finished her residency in internal medicine and fellowship in endocrinology, where she was the chief fellow at the University of the Philippines, Philippine General Hospital. She is an active medical consultant at the Ilocos Training and Regional Medical Center, where she holds various administrative posts, some of which are as Research Coordinator for the Department of Internal Medicine and Chair of the Technical Review Board of the Hospital Research Unit. She has authored several research papers which garnered multiple awards, and most of them were published. To talk about how to present our scientific paper, let us all welcome Dr. Hannah C. Urbanozo-Corpuz.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hannah Urbanozo-Corpuz, and this is part one of two videos about presenting scientific papers for the ITRMC Hospital Research Unit Virtual Classroom. This two-part video series covers general tips on poster and oral presentations of the research paper in scientific meetings for the purpose of informing. It doesn't cover manuscript publication or presentation of the research paper for the purpose of effecting policy. We hope to be able to cover these topics as well in future videos. Please don't forget to hit like, click subscribe, and ring the notification bell to inform you of whenever we release new videos. On to our topic. The ultimate goal of research is to increase collective human knowledge, which is why research data is not meant to languish in filing cabinets or hard drives. It's meant to be shared. Presenting in a scientific meeting will likely be experienced by nearly all medical and paramedical trainees. Aside from fulfilling requirements, benefits of presenting data in a research forum, such as research contests and annual conventions, include contributing to and learning about the most recent advances in your field, learning how to talk about your data, receiving feedback for further improvement prior to publication, and contributing to your overall research profile, which looks good on our CVs. Presentation formats are usually through poster or podium, and conferences at times make you choose your preferred format. Poster presentations offer a quick display of your research and can become a more interactive session than an oral presentation, owing to the longer time frame of presentation, since your poster stays where it is for approximately a day or two. Podium or oral presentations, on the other hand, may be nerve-wracking for most, but they do tend to be more prestigious, especially in a plenary where the audience number may be as much as more than 100. However, you are limited to the time allotment given to you to get your message across. If the time you're given runs out, you may lose your only opportunity to deliver the message you wish to convey. That said, let's look at poster presentations. What should we put in them? And a few tips to make it great. For the contents, like the manuscript, scientific posters make use of the IMRAD format: the introduction, methods, results, and discussion, and add to that our references, our contact information, and acknowledgements. The results part or conclusion is usually highlighted and should be where the emphasis of your poster be. Before you start making the poster, lay out your layout. This makes your work on the computer quicker. Create a storyboard. You can do this through pen and paper. Determine the orientation, landscape or portrait. Use 3 to 5 columns for a landscape-oriented poster and 2 to 3 columns for a portrait-oriented poster as a rule of thumb. And select the figures and tables that you would like to be included in your poster. Several softwares offer different features in poster making. The most commonly used is still Microsoft PowerPoint. It's like a giant slide, your poster. Google Slides, on the other hand, are good for collaborative projects. Apple Keynote for Mac users offer limited alignment capabilities, but it does have more extensive design tools. Canva and Pictochart are downloadable programs with limited free options and are great and offer great templates as well. And for Adobe, it has InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator as its programs, and they are more for the more savvy designer. But whatever the software you may choose to use, the important feature is its capacity to export the file as PDF. This keeps layout details that may be lost as you transfer files and results in a reasonably sized file to facilitate ease of transfer, especially come printing time. On to the 8 tips for a visually pleasing poster. Tip number 1, follow the rules of the conference. We have to be aware of the board size and the minimum poster size requirement stipulated by the conference. The board size would represent the maximum size you can print your poster out to, and there's a minimum poster size. We don't recommend the use of the entire board to put your poster onto because definitely there will be some areas of the poster that will fall below the line of sight, and this will be difficult to read. Font size is also sometimes recommended by the conference. And we have to make sure that we have the correct board number because you don't want to be hanging your poster on someone else's board. Tip number 2, structure or layout is important. People tend to read from right to left and top to bottom. So lay out the flow of your text in this manner as well. Make sure the locations of your start point and end point are clear. Tip number 3, less is more. Be concise. Cut down on text. You don't have to transfer or you don't transfer your entire manuscript to the poster. Don't drown your images and figures in a lot of text or in a sea of text. And a good rule of thumb is to keep the entire word count to 250 or less. Alignment-wise, justify to the left. We're talking about the body of your text. This makes it easier to read than if it were justified to the center. Tip number 4, ensure that you have adequate negative or white space. These are areas of a page that don't have print or pictures. And another rule of thumb is to leave about 40% of this space blank. This enables you to draw attention to your important messages. Take a look at the example in this slide and appreciate how more visually balanced the text with the white space is compared to the one without. Tip number 5, choose your colors well. Choosing colors can be fun, but don't go overboard. Don't choose colors that are too bright or print poorly. Don't use patterns or dark colors as your background. Keep it simple. White is cheapest to print. Tip number 6, size matters, and so does your font. Size of the text should be big enough to be easily read 5 to 6 feet away, and the smallest text should be no smaller than 24 points. For fonts, avoid using unprofessional ones or using too many different types of fonts. Keep your font types to 1 to 3 only. For the body of your text, use serif fonts, the ones with small lines or strokes at the end of the letters, such as the font Times New Roman, for your text because they are easier to read when text size is smaller. For the larger sized headings or titles, you may use sans serif fonts, those that don't have extra strokes on their letters, such as Arial. Concise titles are also preferred for obvious reasons. It enables the reader to catch your message or to get your message in a shorter time. We also want them to be catchy enough to get the attention of passersby. Tip number 8, simplify your figures. Label figures properly, relate figures with general descriptors that are easy enough even for the non-specialist to understand. Use diagrams if you can in the methods section, and make use of summary figures. Here's an example of a summary figure. This is a qualitative study that looked at motivations for pre-drinking. This is drinking before going out. They showcased a word cloud or word map that immediately tells the reader that the themes of saving money, cheaper, fun, social, and buzz were the most common answers. It also showed a bar graph of themes of their thematic analysis, and there were a few well-placed meaningful drawings as well. That's the 8th tip. So in summary, the 8 tips would be: follow convention or contest rules, layout is important, cut down on text, use negative space, consider color carefully, size and font matter, brief and clear titles are preferred, and simplify your figures. Also provide summary figures if possible. The good news is there are templates available. Links to online research poster templates will be placed in the comment box. Some are free to download, while other websites offer design for a fee service. Here's an example. This is from the website enago.com. This is a poster template, and as you can see, they also use the IMRAD format. So you can engage their service if you wish to have them design your poster. And here's an example of what I would consider as a well-made poster. The title is concise and immediately conveys the main message. The logos are minimal and well-placed. There's good use of negative space. Colors chosen were not too bright and complement each other well. And the figures are very easy to understand and labeled properly. The viewer is able to get the gist of the study in probably less than 5 minutes. Finally, remember that hanging your poster is not the end of it. You have to stand beside it and explain it. Here are a few more tips on how to talk about it. First, dress professionally. Part of your credibility lies in your appearance, and being well-dressed and well-kempt also gives you more confidence as you present. Then practice your pitch. Think about these 3 things. What is your research topic? What have you found? And why is that important? It's these 3 basic information that gets the ball rolling and provides the gist of your paper. Engage the audience. Be enthusiastic. And when you clarify concepts with them, ask, have I been clear? Rather than using the more threatening phrase that we usually use, do you understand? And another tip is you may use or you may give out handouts that contain details that are not reflected on your poster. And that's it for presenting your research through a poster. Stay tuned for part 2 of this series, Tips on Presenting Your Research Through an Oral Presentation. Have a great day.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to be in the loop for new lectures.